There's always too much food in the house, but never quite enough, because we always want more and more and more. And honestly, it was the industry, the food industry, the junk food industry, the meat industry, the dairy industry that was driving this whole more, actually waiting for us to become reliant onto a system that would never ever satisfy us, because it like these foods, as you know, are literally created in such a way that they hit our palate with the perfect amount of smushy to fatty to salty, and they hit that part of us that can never be sated.
Now, when you were a child, it's interesting because you say that on one hand, your mother's idea of food was that it was about being socially acceptable, striving to be. But there was another part of you that craved food so desperately, and it meant something different to you, and those two sides were battling.
Yeah, that's insightful and true. Food was my lover, my confidant, my saver, my best friend. And when I was bullied in school, it was always the Oreos or the Cheez-Its that were there for me when I got home. So it wound up being this love-hate relationship. I loved to eat those Oreos in my bedroom by myself after a hard day where kids didn't get me. It was like almost almost like a drug, like that kind of a feeling when, okay, finally I am in myself. I am being like the most truthful manifestation of myself that little 8 or 9-year-old me knew how to be. But at the same time, because of the fact that I was this participant in this food addiction and dieting industry, I was as far from my truth as possible.
It's like food in that state. I've been there where you come home from what was school for you, or for me was later in life, so from work, from modeling or whatever, and I felt so empty from being torn down so much. And then it really does feel like it's filling you back up. You go out into the world on empty tank, you come home, fill the tank up, and somehow food is able to, obviously it's a false recognition of filling, but it feels like it's filling you.
Well, and let's relate that to any kind of toxic relationship. For me, it was food. Later on, it was toxic relationships with the wrong people. We talked about when you were on Our Hen House, it was, a lot of other substances that they're filling this void that is really unfillable as long as we're hiding behind whatever toxic relationship is taking place. And for me, for a long time, it was the dance between Cheez-Its and those little frozen lasagna meals.
Hey, folks. Okay, back by very popular demand is our plant-powered plate fridge magnet, which you are going to receive for free if you leave us a rating and a review on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on. So here are the details. Just write your quick review. Does not need to be long, does not need to be a whole story. Just be honest and speak from the heart. Then take a quick screenshot of the review you wrote and email it to us at podcast@switchforgood.org. That's podcast@switchforgood.org. And include your mailing address so we can send you a power plate. We are doing this because the more reviews we garner, the higher we go in search results, which means more folks will learn about our podcast. So the power is in your hands. Leave us a review and zoom, your power plate arrives at your doorstep.
So thank you so much for tuning in today. If we helped you in any way, then click the subscribe button and let's keep hanging out together. We have so much more to share with you.
And if you need more information on actually making the switch for good, please visit us at switchforgood.org for loads of info. And you can subscribe to our mailing list where you will receive all sorts of super cool gifts, discount codes to our very fave dairy-free products, and a lifetime of powerful health tips.
So join us on the journey to switch for good. This is the future.